it's your girl Adeola. Well, Nigerian politics, what can you say? It's been real. So some of the Offa Robbery suspects last week implicated the Governor of Kwara State, can you believe, as well as the Senate President, Bukola Saraki.
We've been working for him when he was Governor of Kwara State. We mobilize and we are the one that do political arrangements for him. Where we can't win, we make the value arrangements there. We scatter elections if we don't win.
Father Lord. Okay, so according to the guy, they were political thugs that were being used to destabilize communities in Kwara State during election. However, according to the same guy, the Senate President didn't know about the Offa Robbery.
Is the state governor or Saraki aware of the robbery before you go for it?
They did not send us for the robbery, but because they are political thugs, that is what led us to that.
Yeah, but the only thing is, the plate number of one of the vehicles that they used during that operation says Saraki on it. And he said that it was a sticker that was given to them during the elections.
It's a sticker. When we go for a political meeting, they used to share it. Saraki is our leader, Saraki is this. Saraki is our leader, Saraki is this, Saraki is that. So that is how the sticker came about.
Now, he also said that the vehicle was given to him by the Senate President.
The connections between me and the Senate President is he's the one that is arranging everything for us. This car was given to me by His Excellency through the Chief of Staff as a gift from the leader, Bukola Saraki.
Okay, so yeah, some people believe the guy, some people think he made everything up. We'll come back to that. So the police summoned the Senate President for questioning, and to his credit, like a gentleman, the Senate President said he will gladly honor the invitation of the police. But you know, something must have happened by the next day because the invitation was cancelled. But of course, the drama did not end there. Two other suspects implicated the Senate President, and then of course, the police said they still want him for questioning. Okay, so I've seen a lot of people that are saying that the IGP of police, remember him, transmission. Anyway, so they said that the man is just being used by Buhari to frame Saraki and Dino Melaye. If you guys remember, Dino Melaye was also invited by the police after some robbers said that he was the one that supplied them with weapons. So it happened to Dino Melaye, it happened to Saraki. So because of Saraki and Dino's case, a lot of Nigerians believe that Buhari is just witch hunting these guys. Buhari is just trying to frame Saraki because he doesn't like him, which is why some of them don't believe the robber when he tried to implicate Saraki. Now, this is where Nigerian politics gets interesting. After telling the world that he would honor the request of the police, a lot of people don't know that Saraki called for an urgent meeting of both the Senate and the House of Representatives, where they came up with 12 things that they said Buhari must do immediately or be impeached.
The president must take immediate steps to curtail the growing level of unemployment and poverty in Nigeria, especially now. Okay,
so that's just one. That's just one of the 12 things that they came up with. Another one is that both the Senate and the House of Representatives passed a vote of confidence in Saraki. Now, this is happening after the police invited him for questioning.
Both chambers of the National Assembly hereby pass a vote of confidence on the Senate President, the Speaker, and the entire leadership.
I still don't understand why some people do some things if their hands are clean, but you know, we'll come back to that. And of course, they insisted on a vote of no confidence in the IGP.
We also hereby reaffirm our earlier resolutions of the vote of no confidence on the Inspector General of Police.
So, if really Buhari is using the IGP to witch hunt Saraki as people are saying, then Saraki has double-crossed Buhari by threatening him with impeachment, which Saraki is very good at, if you remember how he became the Senate President in the first place. However, the one thing that is breaking my heart is realizing the fact that a lot of Nigerians are not looking at the big picture. You know, it's true that the Senate President probably knows nothing about the Offa Robbery, going by what the suspect himself said, but the real issue here is the fact that a lot of our politicians in Nigeria, a lot of our governors, they breed criminals, and this has been going on for God knows how long, and people actually accept this as a norm. The fact that governors would equip young people with weapons and use them to destabilize communities, especially during elections, or in some cases use them to kill their opponents, it worries me. How do you guys think that Boko Haram started? Everybody in Borno would tell you that former Governor Alimadu Sheriff was the one that allegedly equipped young people with weapons as political thugs, and that he used them against his opponents throughout his 2 terms. But after using them, they became too strong and they had weapons at their disposal. And guess what? They started using it on the people, which is why the media would tell you that Alimadu Sheriff is allegedly responsible for Boko Haram, even though he was not the one that told them to go and be terrorizing people.
We all know what started Boko Haram. Everybody knows. It was started in Borno by the then Borno governor, Ali Sharif. He used them for his own political machinery. He armed them as his political thugs. He even made one of them a commissioner, but they became too powerful.
Meanwhile, Boko Haram has killed at least 20,000 civilians in Nigeria, but Alimadu Sheriff is walking around as a free man. There has been several outcries that he should be prosecuted, that he should be arrested, he should be questioned about his link with Boko Haram. Nothing like that has happened. In fact, after that, he became the chairman of his party, and not only that, he walks around with like 200 soldiers. But of course, people are angry, and some have even tried to attack him physically, as you would see in this video. Now, in this case, I've seen some people saying that this guy made it all up, and you know, that makes me laugh because they're talking as if Saraki is a saint. Me, you know, when I looked at that video, I see a guy that knows that this is the end of the road for him, especially because they killed policemen. They didn't just kill civilians, you know what I'm saying? They also killed policemen. So he will probably be sentenced to life in prison, and he decided, if I'm going down, I'm taking everybody involved with me. That's what I see. I don't see any reason why he would make this thing up when he's about to die, when he could die. Now, yes, the Senate President didn't send them to rob the bank like he said, but he keeps repeating a statement that I wish we would pay attention to. And the statement is that the reason they are able to do this is because they've been empowered.
The Senate President and Governor of Kwara State, we have been their political talk. So that was what encouraged us to do what we are doing.
They have access to guns. If they need money and they are not getting it, what do you think would come to their mind? They probably would think, oh, we have guns and there's money in the bank. Why not rob a bank?
We have not been paid by salary. They give us money when he's around.
Now, I'm not saying that Saraki is guilty of the things that the guy said, but just in case he was actually using them as thugs when he was governor, which is something that is very popular among so many of our politicians. And you know, this doesn't just pertain to Saraki or Kwara State. I'm saying that a lot of criminals in Nigeria today were actually bred by politicians. And I think it's time for us to stop pretending that this is not a problem, because it is, especially after we've seen what happened in Borno State. For those that are defending Saraki as if he's a saint, why not talk to people from Kwara State? You know, they've been shouting about his atrocities for years. They shouted that he was still getting governor's salary and a governor's pension after he was no longer the governor of Kwara State for years, while he was also getting his salary as a senator at that time. So like getting 3 different salaries. Forget about the 13-count corruption charges for which he was taken to court in 2015, which later became 18-count corruption charges before they dropped it down. People forget that this man and his associates allegedly looted Society General Bank of 1 billion naira. This was like in the late 90s, in the early 20s. That was a lot of money at the time. We're talking about people's savings. There are families in Kwara State and a lot of old men and women who have nothing today because their savings were stolen and then the bank was shut down and there was nobody that they could report to. You know, I think the first time that people actually paid attention to the people of Kwara State about Saraki was when they stoned him at Yid a few years ago. For the Lord. And of course, Saraki denied that he was stoned, something that was caught on camera. He went on Twitter and said it wasn't true, that people love him. I guess what I'm trying to say is that we should pay attention to the ripple effect of politicians giving weapons to court members, giving weapons to young people to do their own biddings, because once they are done using these young people, once they are done serving those politicians, these young people still have the weapons, and then they turn on innocent people and they use the weapons. Unfortunately, it is usually when they are caught that they suddenly become godly.
Why do you have to go and rob them?
It is the work of devil, sir. My message is, we the youth of Nigerians, we should not be allowed by any other person to be used. We should not allow anybody to be deceived, to deceive us with anything. There is nothing out there. They are only deceiving us with stipends. Please, my fellow youth, I am begging in the name of God.
And you didn't know that before going on the operation? You know, I don't pity him because he made a decision. At the same time, I'm hoping that somebody out there today would listen, because another election is coming up. Please, we need to stop letting politicians use us against our own people. 33 lives were lost during the Offa Robbery, including pregnant women. And it's all because somebody like him has access to guns. If you're from Nigeria, let me know if politicians in your state give weapons to young people to cause trouble during elections, and how do you think this can stop, especially when a lot of politicians may be doing this. You guys not know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. Moving on to Rwanda. Did you guys hear that they are sponsoring Arsenal sleeves next season? Okay, so Rwanda signed a sponsorship and tourism promotion deal with Arsenal. They are giving Arsenal $40 million to write "Visit Rwanda" on the left sleeve of their shirts. Of course, a lot of people have been criticizing the Rwandan government for doing this. Some people are saying that if you have that kind of money, why not use it to tackle poverty in your country? So let me tell you the government side, and then I'll tell you the critics side as well. Now, the government of Rwanda says that tourism is a huge part of their economy. In fact, they say it's one of the major sources of income for the government of Rwanda. In 2016, Rwanda made $400 million from tourism, and last year they made $444 million for tourism. So the government is saying that the money is coming from the tourism industry, that they are reinvesting their profits in order to make more profit, which makes business sense, right? The only thing is the Rwandan lawmakers did not approve the move. People are saying that the president, Kagame, is the one that is Arsenal's fan. That as a matter of fact, he would fly his private jet to go and watch them live, all the way from Rwanda. And so many people believe that this decision is basically his decision. Now, to the argument of critics, they are saying, yes, they've developed the capital, Kigali. It's beautiful, it's clean. And it's true that they've really developed Kigali since the genocide. They've really done that. But they are saying that once you leave Kigali, it's not like that everywhere. By the way, the government of Rwanda allegedly manipulates poverty statistics, and this has been going on for years. But despite allegedly manipulating the numbers by reducing the number of people below the poverty line from 57% to 45%, more than 60% of the population reportedly still lives in extreme poverty. Besides that, Rwanda is still heavily dependent on foreign aid. 17% of its 2017-2018 budget was financed through foreign grants, and another 17% of the budget was from internally and externally secured loans. So they do get a lot of money. For example, in 2014, the EU gave Rwanda 460 million euros, which is almost $600 million. UN gave them $400 million to fight hunger. The US gives Rwanda about $200 million every year. World Bank gives them hundreds of millions of dollars every year. So they do depend on foreign aid, which is why people are criticizing their decision to sponsor Arsenal with $40 million. And of course, some of their donors are already rethinking their donation to Rwanda after hearing about the $40 million deal. Netherlands, for example, is already considering cancelling their aid to Rwanda, saying that if they have this kind of money, why should they support them? So I want to know what you guys think. Do you think they need to spend $40 million to tell people to come to Rwanda? Are there other things that they can do to get positive reviews, like in the media? I don't know. I'm thinking maybe they can start by releasing all political prisoners. You guys remember the 35-year-old lady that tried to run against Kagame in the last election, Diane Wigara? She's still in prison. The lady is still in prison despite thousands of people petitioning for her release. They've jailed her and her mother since last year. Not only that, while she's in prison, they auction all her assets. Don't forget that her father used to be a critic of Kagame as well until he died in a mysterious accident, and the family cried out that there's a foul play in their father's death. Another idea would be maybe they should release Victoria Ungambire, the woman that challenged Kagame in 2010 and has been in prison since 2010. I mean, already they are getting a lot of people to visit Rwanda. If they release the political prisoners, maybe more people would be interested in Rwanda and think about visiting Rwanda. Another thing is maybe they should stop changing the constitution so that Kagame could be president till 2034. 2034. I don't know. These are just some ideas. I'm just thinking about, cheaper ways to market Rwanda rather than spending $40 million. Also, when was the last time that you heard that people protested in Rwanda? They cannot. You would never hear that they protest because you are not allowed to say anything bad about the government. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe if they let people have freedom in Rwanda, freedom of expression, that maybe that could be a marketing strategy that, there is freedom in Rwanda and stuff like that. I don't know. But as much as they try to paint Rwanda as a perfect country, during the Commonwealth game in Australia, do you know that 2 of their players disappeared? Their weightlifting coach disappeared while his athlete was competing. As in, the guy said that he wanted to go to the toilet. That was how he disappeared. He's now filing for asylum in Australia. I'm like, if Rwanda is great, why would the guy disappear? And then one of their volleyball players also said that she was going to the toilet. That was how she also disappeared. First of all, I don't know what it is with Rwandan athletes and toilets. I don't know what. Maybe their own citizens will stop disappearing if there is freedom of expression in Rwanda. And yes, I know that Nigerians also disappear. We have our own issues, but we don't try to paint it as if we don't have issues. We have a lot of issues and we don't hide it. In any case, I want to know what you guys think about Rwanda spending this $40 million on Asna sleeves, and let me know if seeing it on the sleeve has convinced you to go and visit Rwanda or not. You guys know I don't know much. Guess what? I'm just keeping it real. So before I sign out, now I can also say that I have 7 degrees. Amen, somebody. Amen. About 2 weeks ago, I was invited to speak at the Global Health Summit at Harvard University. And you don't go to Harvard University without adding an extra degree to your degrees. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just trying to follow the footsteps of my Uncle Dino Melai. Thank you so much for teaching us how to do it.
I would like to start by thanking God Almighty, as well as all the people of my village, that I made it to have that. And in 1 minute, you guys don't understand. This is as good as it gets. That I made it to Harvard. Finally, all the people of my village. Thank you very much. Thank you. Finally, all the people of my village can feel proud that they raised me well. So if you are watching me on television anywhere, mommy and dad, this is to thank you. It takes a village to raise a child where I'm from. So thank you very much for raising me. You raised me well. When they called me to invite me to come, they were asking whether I would like to come. And I was like, is that even a question? I was like, sorry. As in, which kind of question be that? When I know that coming to Harvard means I can finally add a degree from Harvard University to my resume.
Hey, met somebody. After speaking that night, I also got my degree at Harvard University. This was the picture of where they were awarding me my degree. Thank you so much to the planning committee for inviting me. How else would I have gotten my Harvard degree? But it was wonderful to get to meet viewers. I met people from Cameroon, Tanzania, Uganda, Rwanda, Nigeria, Kenya, Zambia, and also people from here in the US and from Europe. They showed me so much love that night. I was like, what? Shut up. Kalilowo was hiding the whole time. But and of course, that's why I'm wearing the same outfit, so that you can know that it is really me. Amen, somebody. Go and get your own degree. Thank you so much for inviting me. Alright, y'all, it's been real and I'm keeping it real right up in here. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And if you're yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please make sure that you do that. Until next week, I'm gonna see you all later. Peace out.